I love this. This is my old buddy, John Grace. This is so much fun to have old friends on the show. It's great. And John is a veteran TV producer, commercial director. You've done everything in the film and TV business, right?
The longer you're around, the more you do.
That's it. And now you're teaching it data, and you're teaching students how to do all of this, and I love it. And it turns out this summer now you have it's a film camp for kids.
It is.
It sounds like so much fun. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a blast. We're in our 12th year, if you can believe that.
Really?
I got this started before the incentives kicked in.
Yeah.
But I needed a way to, give kids an opportunity to learn how to make films.
Yeah.
And this was before any of the schools offered film classes. And so we've been doing it 12 years. We've had lots of films make it into film festivals around the country.
I love it. We even have an example of one of your film students work here, I think.
We
have a
got
video we
something
can cue up here. But how did you get involved in doing all this? This is part of one of the film students' films here. But how did you get involved in teaching, and why the switch from the hustle and bustle of the film world into teaching?
You know, I've always had teaching as a secondary occupation.
Yeah.
Back when the Duke City Shootout started out, I was brought in as the teacher for the boot camps.
Right.
And so we were doing boot camps way back when, and then that turned into the film technician training program at UNM.
Right.
So.
And those guys help us on the show here. It's great. We love having the film technician training program, folks. They have some of the interns every now and then come through the studio, and they run the cameras. Mm-hmm. They do some of the sound for us. It's great.
It's an amazing opportunity for students to find their way onto production sets.
Right.
And to earn the big bucks that you actually do earn in the film industry.
Right. There is runway in the industry right now, isn't there? Because the incentives are big and they're back, and finally, after there were some issues 5 years ago with that, but it seems like the film industry has rebounded and it's back on track. Am I right?
Stronger than ever. It's truly amazing right now. We had the largest production month last month that we've ever had.
Wow.
And they didn't sag in the wintertime. And it looks like it's going to go up and up.
That's amazing.
The new incentive, the 30% rebate for the television shows has made a huge difference. And,
right.
And you guys have seen the shows that are coming through.
Oh, yeah. Well, Better Call Saul is one that comes to mind immediately. Longmire filmed here, and that was picked up by Netflix, which is great. I'd love to see that. And then I can't remember. I know there were some others. But
Night Shift.
Of course.
Messengers, which is airing right now, is a New Mexico show. There's, of course, Manhattan, a truly unsung hero of our production community.
Right.
It's a great show.
It's fun. And that one, a friend of mine worked on that, and he was telling me that he had to, because Manhattan takes place in the 1940s in Los Alamos, right? So he had to paint all of these new buildings to look like 1940s buildings.
Yeah. They don't make those colors anymore.
No, they don't make those colors.
Colors are gone.
Right. So he had to sit there and make all these crazy, he actually was telling me how he paints movie rust.
Right.
I love it. I love that kind of stuff. But you teach more the art of the filmmaking.
I do. I'm at the really rudimentary level of filmmaking, and I teach at Data Charter High School, Digital Arts and Technology Academy. It's been around for about 8 years now, and it really is a wonderful opportunity for kids with an artistic passion to get their high school core credits and to accumulate skills along the way that actually translate to the real world.
Right, and then you can slot right into one of the major film schools, UNM, CNM, go right into it, and
in fact,
be ahead of the curve.
We teach a dual credit program.
Oh, really?
So the kids, while they're in high school, are earning college credits.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. That's very amazing. And are these all geared to get people into the film technician program, which is essentially the film union group in the state, or is this something beyond that?
You know, for years, college taught directors.
Right.
And
they taught theory, and here's Fellini.
Yeah. I still don't know what theory is. I took theory classes. I don't know what it means. But there's, a real need for below-the-line technicians.
Right.
The day-to-day, hardworking, blue-collar crews.
Right. The people that keep things like our microphones working and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we saw the need for that in New Mexico when those film incentives got approved initially.
So
and
let's take us back to that for a minute, because I remember when this was a big deal around 1998, 99.
Right.
It was actually Governor Johnson, people forget, that originally approved these things. Yeah. And they are it's a rebate if you bring your film here, and how it works. And help me with the numbers here, because they've fluctuated through the years, I know, but if you bring your big deal film here, like Avengers or something. Thor was filmed here. That was the big one. And if you spend $1 million here, $100 million here, like Thor did, you get a check from the state for $20 million.
That would be the theory.
Right.
But it's not quite the truth.
Right.
It's qualified expenses.
Right.
So that
means
I
can't like expense my like cars, and I can't expense my parties and my cupcakes.
Exactly. Or your star salaries, or your in a lot of cases airfares. Just the expenses that are truly New Mexico expenses.
The lumber they bought on the ground to make the set.
Sure. So we're bringing in $600 million a year, give or take.
Right.
And the rebate is 50 to 60, hopefully, $1 million a year. That's a pretty good return on investment.
That's not bad at all, because now in the business there are, I wouldn't even know how many people are working in the business these days.
Well, we've got 1,100 in our union.
Wow.
And that's just our union. Of course, there's still the actors, there's the Teamsters, there's all of the peripheral businesses that are supported by film industry.
Right.
So when you start counting them up, we're talking in the tens of thousands of
That's amazing.
People employed by the industry.
So of all the films that have been made here so far, what's been your favorite? What are you looking forward to seeing the most?
That's a tough question.
Right?
I think Avengers, from a purely entertainment standpoint, is pretty impressive.
It was fun. It was amazing.
And it's fun to say that, that came from New Mexico.
Right.
But I'd say Little Miss Sunshine was one of my favorites.
Oh, I always forget about that one. Of course, that was filmed here. There's the great scenes of them driving in the Volkswagen bus underneath the big eye.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like LA traffic, but it's just the big eye.
Wait a minute, that doesn't look like LA.
Right. It's great. It's great. And then, what are your students working on right now? I mean, are they doing shorts? Are they doing long films? What are you steering them into?
Well, shorts are the perfect training ground.
Right.
So we always do the 48-hour film project every year.
When is that?
This year is going to be July, last week in July.
Okay.
And we do a thing called Film or Flight, which is an invitational film festival for high schools and colleges. And we've won, I think, 2 out of 4 years on that, first place and second place the other 2 years. Excellent. So anything where, it's a timed competition, it really hones the kids' skills.
Right. And that's where students really can excel.
It is indeed.
They put all that training right to work.
Exactly.
Immediately, right?
Yeah.
And so the film camp this summer, how do people get involved?
Well, it's hosted through UNM Continuing Education. So if you go on the UNM Continuing Ed website, look for summer camps for kids. It's one of the summer camps that are offered. And
June 15th through 19th and July 20th through 24th.
Exactly.
And tuition is $325, but you learn everything about how to be a filmmaker, essentially.
It's actually cheaper than childcare.
And way more fun.
And way more fun.
Way more
and you've
fun.
got something to show at the end of the week.
How great would that be? Dara and I are going to sign up next.
I'll let you in. I'll shoot the years just a little bit.
It sounds like a plan. We're back in a couple of seconds. We're going to talk more about Small Business Week with Dara and our friend Robbie from Wells Fargo in the Morning Brew with Friends.